What's going on, guys? Credit Solutionist here, Victoria Langford. I am the owner of PX Credit Solutions, where we help you secure your financial future today. I'm also the lead debt elimination consultant over at mycreditcall.com. And if you didn't know, I'm also the author of the 90-Day Rapid Repair mini ebook. We'll be relaunching that this month, so you guys stay tuned. We'll have the links and all that good stuff for you. The book has been revamped. We got some new information in there for you for all of those people out there looking to improve your credit score within 90 days flat. All right, this book will get you where you need to go. All right, now that's a little bit of housekeeping for you tonight. It's Friday. It's fantastic. We're hanging in there tonight. Now, I know why you tuned in. You want to know why employers run credit checks, and you want to know what they're really looking for. Well, I have a guru in the career space. Your dream career coach is here to tell you exactly why that is. I'm here to provide some commentary, but she's going to give you the facts, all right? We're going to talk a little bit. I want to hear from the crowd if you guys have experienced this as well. Maybe you got laid off right after your credit check. Or maybe you applied for a job and they ran your credit check and then they never called you back. Well, tonight you're going to learn why that is. So I have a special guest tonight, resident co-host of the Credit Solutionist channel and my friend, dream career coach. I want to hear a drum roll, please, for my girl, mentor Shelly. Hey girl, hey.
Hey there.
Oh, we gotta give you the clapping.
Well, that for me, for little old me.
Yes, there's like 20 people clapping right now, I swear. All right, here we go.
Yay.
All right, let's bring you in really close. Okay. All right, so yeah, I wanted to give you a little introduction. Of course, I didn't do you justice, girl. So I'm going to give you the microphone in a second here to tell the people all about who you are and what you do. I think you're going to be a wonderful resource for the people tonight. So can you let us know who you are and what you do for the folks that haven't seen you on the channel yet? I'm going to give you the floor.
Oh, thank you. I am Mentor Shelly, the dream career coach, author of From Clueless Teenager to Consummate Professional, 7 Steps to Getting the Career and Life That You Truly Want. You can find that at mentorshelly.com/book. I am also the author of mentorshelly.com, the blog where I share a lot of employment information. I share a lot of tips, tricks, and ways for you to successfully navigate your career, and also ways for employers to go ahead and navigate their business and making sure they stay compliant and making sure they have their processes and systems in place. I am actually working with ex-trad wives right now, and I want to make sure that you have what you need. So this quarter, we are focusing on ex-trad wives, and we have definite resources that we'll be going over here in this live stream and for other videos coming up on my channel. Of course, you can always find me at youtube.com at Mentor Shelly. Go ahead, Victoria. Back to you.
Coming on back. I was going to do the applause, but girl, I'm still learning the buttons here, so I wasn't sure where it is. But thank you so much for coming onto the channel. So yeah, with that resume that you have that you just went over, I mean, you definitely are someone that I think is going to give us the information that we need tonight. We have about 9 people that have checked in already, so I know some folks want this information on this Friday night. So maybe they know how to, move forward with their career search and all that good stuff, right? We're here to pivot this year.
Yes.
That is the name of the game. So what we're going to do first, before we jump in, I'm going to give some love to the people that have showed up. You could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. All right, Shar Willie. Hey. Yes, TGIF indeed. Remember, we used to watch, for us, it was Channel 7. We'd watch Family Matters and all those other shows that came on TGIF. This is the new TGIF, getting the game.
That's right.
Getting the game of life,
That's right.
And Denise Joe, thank you for always checking in with us. You are
Always.
definitely an awesome asset to the channel. All right,
Awesome.
Char Willie,
Awesome.
shouting out Mentor Shelly.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, and then all the ladies shouting each other out. And we got Donald Watts. Hello.
Hello, Donald.
All right,
Welcome.
thank you guys so much for showing up tonight. And honestly, guys, I mean, this platform, semi-anonymous. If you have actually struggled with this in your life and you maybe were laid off after a background check, or you went to the interview, got the background check, and then never heard from the employer again, maybe we can shed some light on why that may have been.
Yep.
Okay, all of this is allegedly, but we want to give you a clearer picture and maybe help you to know what to do to make some things look better on your background check.
Correct.
That's kind of what we're here for tonight. So, Shelly, in your
Mhm.
personal experience, before we jump into our first article here, have you ever done that where, in your profession,
Mhm.
maybe you have a candidate, they look really great on paper, they ace the interview, references are great,
Mhm.
but then it happens, you run the background check and something comes up. Has that ever happened
Oh
in
yeah.
your, was it 20 plus years?
To 20 plus years in human resources. Yes, that has absolutely happened.
Now, I just imagine that has to be such a bummer because, from the side of the prospective employee, I get
Mhm.
up in the morning, I get ready, I put on my good makeup, my good suit, and drive all the way down there, and it
Mhm.
all looks good. But there could be one or two things in my background that we don't talk about during the interview,
Mhm.
and then you somehow find out, you know?
Hmm.
That's a bit of a bummer.
It can be. Um, well, I will say this, depending on the employer,
Mm-hmm.
because I worked with a few in my 20-year tenure. Some will give you a chance if you are honest about your background,
Mm-hmm.
and some have a specific criteria that they are not willing to be flexible with.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends on it all depends on the employer. Really, it all depends on the HR manager or the talent acquisition manager that's
Mm-hmm.
in charge of hiring for that particular position.
Okay.
So it depends on what they're willing to massage on. And
You're
depending on what they,
becoming close. She said massage, y'all.
well,
What
there's
we talking about?
flexibilities depending on the position and depending on what it is that they're looking for in that position.
Okay.
There may be some flexibilities there. So,
Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha. So what I think I'm hearing is that it could be up to the discretion of the employer and what they are willing to overlook based on what your skill set may be and
yeah.
how desperately they need to fill the position too. Is that part of it as well sometimes?
It's more of depending on what they find.
Mm-hmm.
If it tips the scales on this could possibly become a liability down the line, then no. But if it's
Okay.
more of a okay, they have this experience,
Mm-hmm.
they have a solid back professional background, and they were honest and forthcoming about what you may find.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there may be some
Okay, I
yeah.
got you. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the learning portion of tonight's live because I got this information here straight from one of the horse's mouth. Well, look, the three horsemen, which are one of the three credit reporting agencies,
Uh,
Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Now, there are a whole lot more minions in this army, y'all.
oh
If y'all are
yes.
familiar with Game of Thrones, it's just like, what is it, the White Army, or the White Walkers, whatever they were.
Oh Lord.
It's a whole lot of credit agencies out there that y'all don't know about. So we are
Hmm.
just talking about the Snow King right now. Okay, Experian. This is one of the big ones. So
Uh-huh.
I found this article and we can go ahead and talk about it tonight. What to know about employment and your credit. Oh, let's say hello to these two ladies and then we'll jump in. Hey, hey, dark and lovely.
Hello, hey, dark and lovely.
Whenever she says she's watching from the clouds, or I always think you're in a plane on first class. Is that what that is, dark and lovely, or is it just the clouds like the internet?
Could be either one.
I know, because I'm like, wow, you be jet setting, okay, every Friday. And then, hey, Farida girl,
Hi,
congratulations
Farida.
on your master's degree, madam.
Awesome.
Congratulations. Saw
Awesome
that on,
accomplishments.
yes,
Woo,
ma'am.
that's a lot
Saw
of
that
work.
on LinkedIn. As a matter of fact, hold on, Farida, girl, I'm learning these features. Hold on, y'all. You go, you know, you get a clap. Okay, y'all. Farida, friend of the channel. Okay, she's been on here before talking about AI and all that good stuff, you know.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yes,
this is a woman that knows her stuff, okay?
that's
So
right.
give her some props, okay? Yes, you're very welcome, girlfriend. And then she said, thank you. She is chilling in first class. We know,
First
okay?
class. You better tell them.
I
You better
know.
tell
Girl, even
them.
if you're not, just tell us that you are. It's okay. All right,
Listen.
so let's go ahead and jump into this.
Hmm.
Okay, so what to know about your about employment and your credit? So it looks like it's a pretty quick read here. So
Hmm.
it says the quick answer that Experian is providing us is that employers cannot view your credit score, but they can view a modified version of your credit report with your written consent. Okay, we know that, right?
Right.
Some states and municipalities don't allow employers to use your credit to make employment decisions. Now, I do have a question about this later on, Shelly, because I like
Okay.
what they're saying, but I'm wondering if in practice that's truly what happens, if you're catching my drift. Okay,
Got
got
it.
you. Okay, now it says some companies conduct background checks when considering applicants for jobs or when evaluating employees for promotions. Sometimes employers may ask to check your credit as part of their screening process.
Hmm.
Employers can't view your credit score. Okay, we said that already, but federal
Hmm.
law allows employers to view a modified version of your credit report. Very important, you guys. It says modified. So that's not everything that you would pull if you were to pull it yourself, okay? It's only things that the employer needs to know. In some cases, they may use this information to verify your identity, very important, or to evaluate your history of responsibly managing money. This is huge. So many people don't think this is a factor, but it is. That said, an employer can't check your credit without your written consent. They also have to comply with laws designed to protect consumers as well as equal opportunity employment laws. This is why you guys got to start reading up on this stuff. When you get those thick booklets or come across some information on the internet, read it because your rights are right there in your face, okay?
Hmm.
Okay, so it says they also have to comply with the laws designated to protect consumers, that's you and me, as well as equal opportunity employment laws. So it says, read on here. So, can an employer access my credit? We're going to skip that because we already talked about the fact that they cannot. That is because of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, aka the FCRA.
Right.
I almost know it frontwards and backwards. I kind of have to in the industry that I'm in, but
Yeah.
definitely read that if you guys ever have a chance. Now, this is where I think I want some insight from you, Shell. So I'm going to read this and then I want to kind of get some of your input. So, why do employers check your credit? Some employers may check your credit to look for potential signs of risk when making a hiring decision. Particularly in the financial industry, an employer may look for patterns in a candidate's money management skills. This is why I am a debt consultant with mycreditcall.com, you guys. I'm looking at all of the possibilities, okay? Employers typically review applicant or employee reports, credit reports, to verify an applicant's identity. That's huge. Don't be coming to no employer with a CPN, y'all. Use your social if you seriously have one.
No, please don't.
Please don't go buy a CPN. I don't care how good a salesman that person is. Please don't do it. Please don't. Look for sign. And the employer also looks for signs that an applicant is financially responsible. They look for a history of skillful financial management. I'm noticing they keep talking about money here. They look for
Mhm.
any red flags, such as missed payments or high balances. Okay, Shell, I want to take a break from reading this really quick because I want to ask you a question. Now, if I were John Q. Public and I was not in the credit repair industry like I am now, I would be so confused about why an employer cares about my money and my spending habits. Can you enlighten us on why this is important and why our financial history matters?
Your financial history matters based on your job description, and what you'll be handling for that employer.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in a management and you so happen to obtain one of the, I don't have a card with me, one of the business cards, credit cards, you know, wonderful old American Express that has a very nice limit, or does not have a limit at all because it's in the business name, um, that can be used to make specified purchases for the company or for,
Mm-hmm.
as part of your job description. Before they hand you a $50,000 limit card, they want to know that you have been responsible with your own $5,000 limit card. So they know they can trust you with the $50,000 limit card. So people in management usually do the credit check piece on that leadership, because that's one of the perks that comes with leadership. But with leadership and that those kind of perks comes responsibility. If you're in any financial sector position, stockbrokers, you're selling some form of insurance, you're in the financial, you know um, even bookkeeping, because you're handling other people's,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
you know I talked about, ex-trad wives transitioning into that earlier today,
Mm-hmm.
in the video that I dropped on my channel. um, that budgeting in your personal life can definitely help you to, use those skills in the financial industry, in your working in the job market.
Right.
So they want to see if you're handling your own finances. Like, for example, you you have an installment loan
Mm-hmm.
on your car, and they do a credit check, and they say, okay, this loan has been in existence since 2020.
Mm-hmm.
You've been paying on the car for 4 years. And while they won't be able to see the actual score of your whole profile, if they see maybe in the last 4 years, 10 lates, 30, 30 days late, maybe a couple of 60 days late, totaling 10 lates altogether, they're probably going to think twice about trusting you with their money when you're not handling your own very well. That's kind of what that says about you. So they're getting an idea of how you handle money based on what your credit report says about you. And I'm sure you have talked to clients of yours, Victoria, where that's been the issue.
Absolutely. And I remember doing a live stream when I first started my YouTube channel about why I would never remove child support from a credit report. Girl, they got so mad at me because number one, if
Uh-oh.
it is legit, okay, we're only speaking about legit child support, guys, not the child support that has all the issues and the state not reporting correctly. We're talking about the guys that literally don't pay their child support, okay?
Oh, Lord.
Here's the thing. If
Don't
I'm an
wait.
employer,
Don't get those guys mad at us tonight, please.
no, they're
Lord.
not gonna get mad at Liz, girl. Hold on. You want me to
No,
I'll go solo on the screen real
no, no,
quick.
no, no, no. We're good. I have
Cause
no
I
problem with the truth. I have
okay.
no problem with accountability. They seem to
Yes.
have it. But go ahead.
And thank you. You just summed it up. It's accountability. So my thing is this: if it is legit, you're not paying, right? And we see that you've been skipping, I'm not going to remove that because your employer, honestly, they need to see that. They need to know there's a little human somewhere in the world that you're responsible for. And if you aren't going to take responsibility for them, well, are you really going to be an effective employee? That's my question, right? So I always ask like, "Hey, what's the circumstance? Like if I take this off, is it going to pop back up? Like what's the issue, you know?" So I always kind of want to know the story a little bit as far as like just to kind of gauge what's happening. So it's not, you know, this thing credit solutions will never remove it. Now back then, yes. Back then, yes. I ain't
I'm
asked no questions.
I'm gonna put a little extra on the sauce from an employer perspective, because
Yes.
in human resources, we're speaking from the employer's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
If I saw that on a credit report, and you're going to be trusted to handle certain budgets, or you're in charge of handling certain things for a department, and I saw that you were behind on child support, I'm sorry, me personally, as an HR, as an HR executive manager, whatever position I'm in, I'm
Mm-hmm.
probably not going to hire you.
Okay.
Because if you're not responsible for the very flesh and blood that you created, what else are you not going to be responsible with? I'm
True.
sorry.
Yeah.
I take that very serious. That's your
Mm-hmm.
child.
Yeah.
That's not
And
some that's not some water bill that you can get your homeboy to lend you $20 or $30 to pay. That's your child.
this is true.
So
This is true.
miss me with the, oh, I don't care about the mother. Be mature enough to handle your responsibility and take accountability for that foolishness. I'm sorry. Rant over. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're fine. So and that's why I wanted to have you on here, because I know that you're going to keep it real with the people and let them know. So when it comes to that, have you ever experienced that in your HR career where you had to turn someone down because of back child support or some type of order that you saw on their credit report? Or do you ask questions? What does that look like?
There's how that's usually handled. It's if they're looking for, okay, let's look at the history. Let's look at the overall candidate.
Mhm.
It's not just, oh, well, he has this thing, I'm done. No, it's not like that. It's
Mhm.
more along the lines of, let's look at all of what you have to offer. Let's see what your resume says. Let's
Okay.
see how you interviewed. Let's see what the, because usually the background screen is usually offered, is usually ran after you get an offer,
Okay.
right? And sometimes the credit is not a make or break situation. If
Mhm.
it's not super awful. It's maybe a couple of things here and there. We're all human. We make mistakes. But if it's, we had the interview, there were some questions, but we are not necessarily desperate, but we absolutely need to fill this position, and the
Mhm.
department is falling apart. Decisions might be made differently versus if we have three good candidates and we can pick from the three, and
Okay.
then the offer would be made otherwise.
Okay.
So when I tell you, in human resources, especially when it comes to credit and when it comes to making a choice,
Mhm.
I hate to say this, but it is subjective because other humans are making that decision.
Right. So
You
it's not
understand?
completely AI at this point or anything like
Absolutely
that.
not. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Mm-mm. It can't be, because
Okay.
it can't be. Number one, every organization have their own special culture, and the HR, either consultant, manager, generalist in charge,
Mm.
analyst in charge, should have enough understanding of the culture to understand what type of employee is going to not only be able to do the job but fit into the environment that they're coming in, and is it a good fit.
Okay. Got you.
Mhm.
So I love that you went into detail about that. I
Mhm.
want to drive the point home. We're using child support as a example
Right.
because this not only shows your financial responsibility, but it also can indicate your character. So, we're in this series, just so we're very clear. The
Mhm.
reason that I've been having Mentor Shelly come on for the last couple of Fridays is because social credit is a thing. And your credit report is a reflection of your social credit. How do you move around society? Can you be trusted with a dollar? Can you be trusted with that company credit card like Mentor Shelly was talking about?
Mhm.
I have a story, if I may go into it, and then we're gonna hop right back into this article. But let me just, I gotta show the brothers. Okay, Donald Watts says, my business is my baby. If you don't take care of yours, how can I trust you to take care of my
Boom.
hello? Ding 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 ding
Yes, sir.
ding. Y'all,
In full agreement.
I'm gonna
Yes, sir.
get better at this. Yes. Thank you, Donald Watts. I think that is the comment of the night so far.
Yes, sir.
And coming from a gentleman, thank you very much. That gives me a little hope here.
As,
Okay.
as, as a responsible gentleman.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, met him at what, get some skills or take the deal. If
Mm,
I saw y'all there, I know y'all are about something. So
that's right.
yes, we
That's
remember.
right. That's right.
Um, so what I wanted to say about this is that it does show your character. I remember one time this guy I worked with, he had a company credit card, company car, all these things, right? And I
Mhm.
remember he used to get like parking tickets and all kinds of crazy stuff just because he was driving all around town just being crazy. Now, it wasn't his background check that actually did him in. It was the fact that he had all of this stuff, but he was making deals under the table and having residents pay to like remodel their units and stuff like that. In the Section 8 world, you cannot do that because HUD gives us a budget to remodel certain units. So him taking money from people illegally essentially and remodeling these HUD sponsored units, that's he's technically breaking the law. So that's as far as I'm going to go into it. But imagine if something like that not necessarily comes up on his credit report, but if they contact his employer, that could be an issue because they may or may not say what the guy did, so he may never get a company credit card again. I don't know. And he might have ran up the company credit card. I don't know what he did.
I
But
got a question.
go ahead.
He can't get charged. That's not a civil or a criminal charge, a misdemeanor fraud, something.
Let
You
me tell
taking
you.
taking money,
I
go,
love that you brought that up.
like government money, like something. No kind of charges coming with that kind of
Listen.
action.
Mm,
I,
okay,
I,
I'm gonna be careful with what I say here because the company knew it was going on, but they needed a excuse or they needed an in to prove that it was happening. That's what it was. And it was happening right under my nose, y'all. I didn't even know. I had no idea. I just thought that they
Pull
loved
a
this
T.
man. I
It's
did.
all
I
right.
just I and the residents would just come smiling all up in my face, right? And I'm
It's
just
okay.
like, "Oh yeah, everything's great." And one day a bookkeeper calls me and she's like, "Oh, I need you to go into this unit and I just need you to tell me like what can you tell us if the carpet has been done in that unit yet?" So I go up there. I'm like, "Oh, da 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 da," and that's a normal
Yes.
call. Like that's a normal call. Like they used to do that all the time because they just wanted to make sure they could cut the check to the vendor. So I go in there and I'm like, "Oh, nah, man, there's hardwood floors in here." And the bookkeeper was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, there's some, yeah." And I stomped on the floor. I was like, "Nah, I'm pretty sure this is hardwood floors." I
You
said, "I don't think
wait,
this is
wait. You
subfloor."
stop the floor. Okay, go ahead.
Girl, yes, because I was like, "Well, maybe it's subfloor or something like that." Then I was like, "Oh no, this floor is like really shiny." I said, "Nah, I think we put wood floors in this one." Yeah, whatever. The person's moving in on Monday. She was like, okay, I'm gonna call you back." Girl,
You had no clue what was going on.
Girl, she made me dry snitch. I didn't even know I was dry snitching. I was like, "What?" And then she's like, "Okay, all right. Well, we'll be out there tomorrow." And it turns out this fool was doing that with every single new move in. Every single new move in. HUD does
How
not
many
well,
units did he do that with total? You have any idea?
oh God. I know how many people I moved in during my tenure there. So I would say at least by that time of year, it had to be at least 12 ish. But my question was, where are these people getting this money from if they're Section 8 people? Where are they getting all this cash from? So there's a lot of weird stuff that happens in the industry. That's why I had to get out and just go to corporate because I was like, dude, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is too much. But I think because there was probably some back scratching on both sides, the company, he probably got away with other stuff on the other
Uh-oh.
side to where the company was like, "Yo, can you just leave? Like, we're not gonna press charges or nothing. Just get out of here." It was one of those situations. So that's not credit related, y'all, but it goes to show what your character is a big deal. Like this guy made it past the background check, but he's still unscrupulous. So my point is, if you have a piss poor character, excuse my French, whatever,
He's going to show up.
it's going to show up and it's going to get exposed. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not silly enough to fall for that kind of okey doke again because I'd be like, "Girl, why you got me walking up to this unit? What's going on? What you really want to know, girl? Just ask the question." You know, I didn't know what she was doing, and she totally played me because she's like, "Oh, she's young and dumb. I'll just, I'll have her go upstairs." Girl, but after that, man, that man was looking hurt after that. But I'm like, bro, like, how? Why would you do this? Like, there's too many people at this property for this to not blow up in your face,
That the because they think they can get away with it. Um,
girl.
all right, I'm gonna let that go. I'm not even gonna say nothing else. I'm just gonna,
Okay, but I will tell you, in all honesty, we're in 2024, it had to be at least 15 years ago that this
okay.
happened. Oh, it was a long. It was when I first got into the industry, and I didn't know the ropes. I didn't, but a lot of money changes hands in that industry. But that's all I'm gonna say about that because it gets
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Okay, so let's go back in. But thank you for sharing your perspective on everything
Mm-hmm.
about how character does play a role. So,
Huge.
okay, and actually, one more point. Because the job or the employer at that time had to wait that many years for his character flaw to show up. Imagine if something was on his credit report. They could have got him, nipped him in the bud before he even set foot on that property. You know what I mean? So the credit report can save companies a lot of time, you know?
They also
Seriously.
need. Here's why I asked that question because had they filed that fraud issue, it would have came
Mm.
up. It would have came up on the background, and
Wow.
even yeah. Sometimes it shows up after 7 years, and then they'll actually see what type, how long it was, and what it was for, at a
Man.
state, county, or city level.
Okay.
That also gives a good picture of what they've been up to.
Got you. And I'm gonna tell you, okay, last thing and I'm moving on. The reason that also I don't feel bad for this man had properties in Arizona. That's another reason. This man was stacking chips. Okay?
Okay, all right,
Okay.
all right.
Him
Oh,
and his wife, they was both shady, but let me be quiet.
well,
You know,
anyway,
they may not even be with us no more. So let me they because they was old.
anything's possible.
All right, now he'd have to be
Mhm.
pushing 80 now if he's still here. So that man was an old crook from way back. Old school crook. Okay, anyway. Now, let's go ahead and go back into this article.
Child, they have them at all shapes, size, levels, and ages. Go ahead on.
I will tell you. Oh my God. Okay, so where did we end
Anyway,
off?
keep
Okay, let
going.
me get back on here. I know, let me get back in here. Okay, so what do employers see when they check your credit?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they check your payment history,
Mm-hmm.
your available credit,
Mm-hmm.
account balances, and any late payments, bankruptcies, or foreclosures. I think it's very clear why late payments, bankruptcies, and foreclosures matter. But I wanted to cover the payment history, available credit, and account balances because I have some input about that as a credit solutionist, but I wanted to get your input on this as well, Shelly.
Mm-hmm.
So the question I or the statement I want to make for everybody, if you're unclear about why your payment history, available credit, and account balances matter, let me break down why that is. I'm going to make the screen super big here. Now, your payment history obviously tells whether or not you have enough money to pay your bills. I'm
Right.
going somewhere with this, y'all. Now, if you haven't paid the bill and you're late, okay, we understand. Maybe a 30-day, okay, cool. But if you get to the point where it's 180 days out or a year or more and it's a charge off now, it's in the collection agency, that's a problem because why have we not addressed it yet? Right? So that's a
Mm-hmm.
character issue, but it's also an income issue. Now, the job may not hold that against you necessarily, I would think, because they know that you need money, which is why you are applying for the job in the first place. Now, the way that rolls over into available credit is this: account balances and available credit go hand in hand. Because if your account balances are super high, then your available credit is very low. Now, if you know anything about the credit industry or anything about finance in general, when money gets tight, we start making desperate choices.
Very true.
Okay? We start selling company secrets for money. We start going on TikTok. We start showing how things work inside our office, or we start disclosing private information. We start doing really weird things when we
How do you
can't
put
pay our
those
bills.
two together?
What's that?
How do you do the giving company secrets when money gets tight. What that mean?
Well, we
What you mean?
do. I want to say the fancy word for that is we call that espionage when we get up to the government level. But it's a big reason why a lot of people lose their security clearances. Because if you are financially strapped, you are actually considered a red flag. There's a word for it. You are a security risk because
Oh.
yeah, because like let's say that if you all right, let's say you have a mortgage, right? And you're about to go into foreclosure, so says your credit report, right? And we know that based off the late payments. We don't know if you're in foreclosure, but if you have not paid your mortgage and you're a year behind, we can assume you're about to be in foreclosure. So there's a lot of assumption that can happen here. So we'd assume you're about to go into foreclosure. So we know based on that, you are probably willing to do whatever it takes to get a large sum of money to be able to get caught up on that house because you're not going to let that house go. And then we also, in my mind, we would have to think, okay, if they're behind, let's say ten or $12,000, just how is this 40, 50, $60,000 job gonna help them catch up because they clearly have other issues too because if your mortgage is behind it would stand to reason that you're strapped for cash like already.
Mm-hmm.
So is this job even going to compensate and be able to help you get caught up? Probably not. So you're going to do something to supplement that, and we're not talking moonlighting, we're talking criminal stuff.
Oh.
So there's a lot of assumption that could happen,
I see. Okay,
right?
it is a lot of assuming. I'm
That's
not.
what I'm saying. So and I'm going to tell you, if I were looking, like, let's say if I needed to hire an assistant,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to come in close for this because somebody might be watching and try to apply. So if I'm looking for an assistant, right, like a VA,
Mm-hmm.
the VA probably will just answer emails, talk to clients, do some follow up with past clients and things. I don't want that VA having access to my email list, to y'all's phone numbers, to your emails. I don't want them having access to any of your information because you know what that person may do since they have all these lates and all this stuff on their credit report. I would assume that person is probably going to gather all of y'all's information and sell it. You see what I'm saying? So that's not necessarily. So am I right or wrong to assume that? Like, what are your thoughts on that, Shelly? Insider threat. Donald's got it. I do a DOD training every year about that. That's Department of Defense for those of y'all that don't know.
It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
People, desperate times call for desperate measures. I guess you can't really.
Yeah.
You know what? The true nature in me. I try not to. I try to think the best in people, but
Yeah.
people will be people. They people in sometimes, and they
And
do.
people are people and more because of this economy.
So anything is possible.
Yeah.
I've been in the HR field. I've been on this earth for a little bit of time, not a whole lot,
Mm-hmm.
but a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
time. People do some crazy things.
Yeah. But account balances are a big deal, you guys. And like I said, from a
Yeah.
credit perspective, I want you to understand why that is. Maxing out your
Mhm.
credit cards, there's a reason that that will drop your credit score dramatically. It is because we can tell you're being squeezed way too tight and
Yep.
giving you more available credit or giving you a job with all of this prestige. We don't know if you're ready for that yet because your credit report, again, money is energy, y'all. It says a lot about you if you can't manage it.
Mm.
It
It's
leaks and flows into other parts of your life, and that's the part that I am trying to explain to people, and I'm working on it to get people to understand it.
right.
But yeah, you guys, I hope that made sense. But there's ways to find out what you need to find out without asking a direct question,
Mm.
right? So
We do that all the time in HR, but yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And like what Donald said here with the insider threat, I tell you guys every now and then on this channel, because I have to do it's a Department of Defense like security training that I have to do every year. And every year without fail, one of the modules is, hey, so and so is going through a divorce. So and so is late on his child support. So and so, says that they have maybe some unsavory things to say about the United States. Who in this group of three people is the security threat? Who would you report to the security team? And it's always the guy that has financial issues first.
I
It's
see.
always that guy. So, you guys, when you're at work, I also want to give you that pointer. You would think I'm the HR person. I'm just going on and on. So, stop talking about your money issues at work. I don't care if all of y'all only make $10 an hour. Shut up. Shut up. Because that is one of the things higher ups listen to. They want to know, are you disgruntled about money? Right? Are you mad that are you disgruntled about your alimony and your child support? Are you disgruntled about that, sir or madam?
Okay. Let me let
Go
me
ahead.
let
I'm
me
sorry, girl.
let me touch on that a little bit. I'll say this. It all depends on the work environment that you're in.
Okay.
Um the more well for because HR has its own unique set of because we deal with a lot of sensitive information anyway. So people will come in and share their issues. Unfortunately, I can't make that statement because part of what we do is handle people's private and discrete information in a myriad of ways in human resources. Let's be clear. So, my assessment of this is going to be varied and diverse in nature, just because it's the nature of what it is that I do. But outside of HR, depending on the environment, if you're in an office environment that gossips quite a bit about nonsense, you may or may not hear that once in a while from one person. You may, or you may, depending on environments, if you're in an environment where it's a lot of entry level folks, you're going to hear a lot of money griping type of situation. Oh, they need to pay us more. Blah, 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 blah. Although there are policies in place for people not to discuss their salary with each other, which I have a very interesting viewpoint on that, but we will talk about that
Okay.
another time. Um, that people will have a lot of, oh, I have another job. This ain't the only thing that's I got going for me. You have people that'll offshoot out the side of their mouth, or you have people that have other things going on financially for them outside that they may or may not mention. And there's some people that keep everything close to the vest,
Okay.
which all three are understandable. People are free to share or not share whatever they choose about their life, whether it affects us as an employer or not. People are free to do what they want as long as when you come here, you handle your business, you do what you're supposed to do, and if you want to go above and beyond, then that's recognized and rewarded down the line. At the end of the day, certain environments breeds those type of conversations and that type of
Mm-hmm.
angst, so to speak. And oh, this, yeah, don't pay me enough to be dealing with all of that. We've dealt with those situations too, and that's caused employee relations issues. We're like, wait a minute, you may not like the rate per hour, but you agreed to it. You signed the paper, and you've been getting this on your paycheck. So, do you want this? Or do you want us to release you since this is too much to be handling for the rate that you're getting paid? Because sometimes they will come and say, well, I didn't get paid enough to be dealing with all this. Then what is it that you want to deal with, sir? Want us
Right.
to-
Like,
so it varies because from my perspective, I'm going to deal with that regardless of what, no matter what type of organization. Because if I'm in the seat of HR or I'm on the team of HR or I'm in the leadership of HR,
mm-hmm.
we're going to deal with sensitive information. And depending on what sector of that, whether it be medical situations, whether it be personal situations, whether it be we're either providing some type of help, support, or discipline,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what comes in our direction. Because guess who we're dealing with? Humans. And y'all unpredictable. So we have to be ready for anything.
Oh
So
my gosh.
we
And that is why you have the gift of objectivity. And
have to.
for yeah, you have to. And it's like on my end, I realize that I have to be more critical. Number one, because of the consultant aspect of what I do, right? And the fact that, excuse me, y'all, the fact that it's financial. We have to get down to brass tacks. I don't have enough time based on the nature of what our interaction would be
Mm-hmm.
during a debt consultation. We don't have time for you to go into the weeds and explain exactly why something happened or, oh, I'm not that kind of person. Okay, I get that, but you have to look at it from the outside objectively and say, okay, if I were to face me without knowing anything that I know, what would I assume about myself? And you have to answer that question critically and honestly, right? Because I have to get you to the solution. So I'm not going to punch you, but I have to get you to the solution. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have time to do that. But
Right.
hopefully, if you get into that situation where there's some things you have to explain, you will hopefully run into an HR representative such as Shelly that will look at it from different angles, and dare I say even ask you some questions and help and let you justify what happened, or you
Not
know,
justify.
or not
Please
justify, but
be
what's a better word?
accountable and
Yeah.
explain. Give us some context. Context is
Yeah.
very important.
Context and
Context with
clarity.
context and clarity is extremely important because the context can make a world of difference.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, Jay Renee, hello. Thank you for joining us
Hello,
tonight if
J.
you're still
Renee.
here. And there's
Mhm.
17 of y'all here. So give us a like, you guys. And we only got like two people chatting. What is going on? I know you guys came for some info. So don't feel shy. You can chat. It's all good.
Mhm.
I don't think you can say curse words, though. I think I have that cut off. So y'all ain't going to be cutting up in here.
No,
Okay. So
no.
Jay Renee says, I think the more bad things become normalized, while still being wrong, people will do it and make excuses. Absolutely. Um,
That gets
won't
them
even
nowhere.
go into detail about that, but I get what you're saying. And Diamond Dave did a fantastic live stream yesterday
Oh, I,
about this very thing.
mm,
It was so good.
mm.
And certain behaviors have become normalized in society as a whole. It's now honestly, it is so cool to be in debt and be broke and be in collections. I run into people all the time where when I
What?
tell them, no, girl, and this is going to shock you. When I run into people and I tell them what I do, I have never handed my card to somebody and they not say, "Oh man, you got to help me cuz I got some collections, girl." Woo! And they be laughing and I'm like, "Okay, maybe it's anxiety that's making you laugh, but why are you laughing about this? This is not funny." And I'll be like, "Why did you say that out loud? Like, just take my card and
Ma'am,
call me, okay?
ma'am.
Don't."
I'm sorry. I mean to jump in right here, but do you really understand that these social media streets have people saying the quiet part out loud in so many areas?
Everywhere. So
Okay,
if you didn't see Diamond Dave's live yesterday,
I gotta catch up.
yeah, and I will say it was not for the faint at heart because there was a lot of truths in there that I don't think a lot of people are ready to face. And the finance thing on my end is one of those that I recognize, but
Hmm.
I have to give y'all credit because when you book your consultation over at mycreditcall.com, I'm going to give you credit for that because it takes a lot to go over to that website, click that button, and pay what I charge to sit there and hear me tell you the truth about what happened and where we need to go and what we need to do. It takes a lot to take that first step. So I commend y'all for that. But let's not normalize being in debt. Do not let the news convince you that that is okay. Okay,
Child,
just because of interest
the
rates. Like,
news gaslight people all the time. Let's not even go there. Go ahead.
yeah, and we
Let's
can
get.
only blame the economy so much. We got to skill up. That's why Shelly is here. That's why I'm here, because that is not going to be your excuse. Not coming into this
Mm-mm.
atmosphere over
Oh, we
here.
big on
No.
accountability over here.
Yeah. Look, Shelly be gentle. I'm gentle too, I think, but I be shanking y'all sometimes. I be shanking y'all. Shelly's very gentle. And I appreciate that, because girl, we can't both be up here cutthroat. We can't both be up here just, Okay, anyway, sorry, y'all. All right, Farida says, I'm currently looking at jobs with the IRS. Way to go, girlfriend. Under the 2010 IT job series, and they want fingerprints, a review of tax transcripts, and credit worthiness prior to any consideration. Yes, and you have to be up to date on your taxes too. So a lot of the IRS doesn't play around with people. You cannot work for them even as an independent kind of contractor, tax preparer.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot do that. They will watch you and they will monitor you. And even if they give you the pass to go ahead and prepare taxes, they will still catch up to you and they will literally revoke everything.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've seen it happen. So yeah, they don't play. But congrats, I hope you get that, Farida. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's always the humans. Girl, yes. Always the humans be humaning. Like
Always
we said, humans hume.
humans be humaning, and
The emotional
I be wanting to look at y'all and imagine myself slapping you upside the head. Sometimes y'all be humaning a little too much. Sometimes, just
listen.
saying. I love y'all though.
And
Love
and
y'all.
we were saying, then that was kind of what Dave was getting at yesterday, is that that's sort of the issue with social media and society as a whole. We're normalizing things when we should be correcting people.
All right.
And I'm going to say this and be done with it. Bring shame back. I said it. Okay? I said it. We need to bring
Keep it
shame
moving.
back.
I'm not fooling with you today. Come on.
All right. So Denise Joe says those same people think it's cute to have. Oh.
Da,
Okay. Do you remember what I said about your payments and how it makes your character look?
da, da,
If you
dee.
have $1,000 car note,
Da,
I
da,
know
da.
your insurance is high, and I know that the $15 or $16 an hour I'm going to pay you as my VA is not going to
I'm
cover that,
I'm sorry. $1,000 for a car,
which is basic. The average car note, I think, is like between 675 and 7 something for a new
ma'am.
car.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. $1,000 a month for a vehicle?
Yes.
That's mortgage and rent money.
This is status quo. And what I've come to realize is that so many people are living this lifestyle, paying $1,000 for, you see these Challengers, Chargers, and what is it, the Hellcats and all that other stuff. They're paying that for those cars because they're doing the 20, 25, 26% interest for the car.
Oh no, wait. I'm in the wrong profession. If you can afford $1,000 car payment, I'm in the wrong profession. I'm gonna let you handle that part because you're the credit specialist. Common sense
Listen,
apparently then left the building. $1,000 car payment? No, ma'am, no, sir. Keep it going. I'm sorry.
look at here. So that's what I would be wondering. So okay, let's say you got $1,000 car note, back child support on your credit report. You know what I'm saying? And you got charge offs. Really? I'm about to hire you as my executive? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. You don't even
It's a
have to
no
tell
for
me
me.
anything.
No, no, no. We got comments. We got some folk in
Lord.
the chat. All right.
That boy Klaus. Never seen you before. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, Mr.
Um,
Klaus.
what is the real reason employers run credit checks? We're getting into it. We've literally just told you like two or three things, and we went ad nauseum actually. Um,
He just got here.
okay, you good, Klaus. I'm messing with you.
Hmm.
Okay, sorry, I just tapped in, just got home. Honestly speaking, this is our HR professional right here. Point blank, we just want to know what kind of person you are. Are you responsible? Are you trustworthy? That's a lot of it, not all of it.
That's yeah, that's a good way to kind of sum it up. And
Yeah.
not only that, are you trustworthy, or because if you're going to be careless with your own finances, you're going to be careless with my card that I trust you with.
You gonna be a mess. I wouldn't trust that person no further than I can throw him.
Come on now.
Okay, Trey
Get
Wilson,
in.
welcome to the chat tonight.
Hey
Good seeing you
Trey, Mr.
again.
Wilson.
Okay, so as my godfather would say, just say ouch and get it right. That's it. That's it. Take this punch and just, and it's going to be a gut punch. Hey, Clouds in my matcha. Welcome to the show
Hello.
tonight. Hopefully you can get
Hello.
some info.
Yes.
They pay $1,000 for a phone. What do you thank you. The thing is, I've worked in all these industries with irresponsible spenders. I was in the telecommunications industry when the iPhone came out. I was there when y'all were lined up around the block for the first iPhone.
Hold on, wait. It's $1,000 one time for the phone versus $1,000 per month.
Where did they get that $1,000 from? Who is spending
It's
$1,000
called
on a
payments,
phone?
honey. You make payments on it. Everything is a payment now.
Yes.
Anyway, go ahead. You keep reading.
And this is why that's goofy. I'm sorry. You could put $1,000 in an emergency fund. What the? I was about to cuss.
Come on,
okay.
come on, come on.
Denise show. That's why I can't date. How is your car payment more than my mortgage? People are really paying high. Thank you. And they have high risk car insurance because ain't no way you paying $1,000 for a Dodge anything, right? And then your insurance is like $100. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. If you even have a license that's not suspended right now. Okay.
Darling, like the old school mother, the old church mother say, I need a sheet.
I mean, girl, I've seen all of this. It's crazy. Okay, Trey, at least the phone is a one-time payment. It could be or it could not. I think the majority of people do the payments over time, which that makes it even worse because now you are bumping up your monthly expenses. Remember, I do budgets for people, you guys. That's not a smart idea. Okay, Shelly, I've had this phone. Guess what year I got this phone?
What year was that?
This is a Samsung S10 Plus blah blah da ga 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 ga.
Oh, I got the same one.
Okay. I got my phone before the Rona. I got mine before that. I still have it. I'm not making payments on this thing, you guys. I'm not.
And
not.
I tried to buy mine cash. I bought I did half of it cash, and then I ended up when I got some extra money, I just paid it off for the rest of it.
There you go.
I got one with more space because, of course, of what we do here, and I need space on the phone. Right.
And when I started my YouTube channel, all of my videos were shot on this phone. Y'all were not the wiser, except for when I was driving in the car. It literally looked the same.
It's a business expense at that point.
Y'all.
Hello.
That's what I'm saying.
If you don't do it, you find a way to write it off. At least be smart about it. Go ahead on. You were saying.
Okay, and I'm Android all the way, and y'all iPhone folks better not say nothing.
Nope.
Okay.
Don't start with fights again.
Trey says, I'm never paying $1,000 for a phone ever. Look, virtual high five, okay? Don't care what features it has, as Bugs Bunny would say. No, exactly. Like, no, we're not doing that. No, I pay cash. That's what I'm saying. If y'all got the cash and you've already taken care of all the other stuff you have to take care of, more power to you. You know what I mean? But if we're doing this phone thing for vanity or fear of missing out, y'all let it go. Don't do that. Okay, they let you do payments for oh god.
Oh, you said da da dee.
Wow.
I do this a lot. Da.
Holy
I'm gonna be singing a lot today. Da da da. For groceries?
Yes. Oh my god.
Stop it! I say stop it. Go ahead on.
So Donald's bringing a good argument here. He says, I feel you, but I use my phone to make money. I need all of the functionality. Donald, you are the exception, not the rule.
Right.
Most people get not most people, not going to say that. But I think so many people jump on the newest trend of the phone because they don't want to be left out. And honestly, being lower income makes people want to be a part of the in crowd even more. So they keep making these ridiculous financial decisions. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So, but you are doing it for a business. You're doing it with a plan in mind. Most people aren't. Okay, 2018. It was about that. I think it was 2018 or 2019. One of the two. So I probably got mine 2019 is what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, and welcome to the chat, OCL Sportsman.
Yes. Welcome.
All right, and then Still Rocks. Hey, Still Rocks,
Yes, the
welcome.
rocks.
Oh, good. Have fun at the fair. I think the Virginia fair, the Virginia State Fair just ended actually last week for
Enjoy.
us. So yeah, have fun. Oh, excuse me, y'all. So he says, Denise Joe says, I'm still rocking the iPhone 12. Listen, you do what you got to do. If it works, it
Okay.
takes calls. If you're watching us tonight from it, hey, girl.
How
And
you doing?
it sounds like it's pretty functional to me. Okay, so um, now I wanted to actually ask you this because I found the FTC article that talks about background checks and like what employers can do legally. But I wanted to ask you before we jump into that, what are some legal guidelines that companies have to follow when they're using credit reports? Because I know I talked all this stuff, but what are the legal guidelines you have to follow?
Um, in order for us to obtain that information, the employee or potential employee has to sign a release for us to obtain that information.
Okay.
Now, what we find if they stay on there, it's very important, folks. If you know that there may be a potential criminal record that we may find, it is always best to divulge it beforehand.
Mm.
Because on that release, it asks specifically, have you committed a crime in the last 7 years that may show on this credit report? If you say yes, and it's you say something towards that, and we find something, your likelihood of getting hired is a whole lot more than if you sign that same document and they ask that question and you say no, and we find a nice long rap sheet of criminal activity. So it's best to be honest.
Okay.
It
Oh
is
God,
best.
y'all. I'm so sorry. I thought I heard gunshots.
Oh, uh-oh.
Credit Solutions is not even playing, y'all. Hold on.
Ooh. Hopefully somebody's moving something. Let's stay there. Yes.
And I'm not even laughing, y'all, but it's kind of funny.
Oh Lord.
No. You know when you're right in the middle of a place that's being gentrified?
Changes.
Girl, they ain't going out
We
without a
pray for
fight.
God's
Okay?
protection
These
while the
people
changes are occurring. Yes,
these
the
people are
law got
not
you
going,
covered. You
yeah,
good.
these people
Come
are
on.
not going down without a fight, okay?
All right.
Okay, let me just get through this first paragraph and I'm gonna jump right back into these comments. Okay.
Right.
So let's just breeze over this because I think you covered it very well. So, employer background checks and your rights. You guys must know this because you have to know when your rights are being violated or what to do when you suspect it. You don't always just have to take no for an answer, okay? Now, are you applying for a job or promotion? Employers might run a background check on you. Now, federal law says that some state laws give you rights if they do. So employers must get your written permission. Shelly talked about that before running the background check. And you have the right to say no. You have the right to say no, y'all. But I will be honest with you, even though that is one of your rights as a citizen of the United States or a potential applicant, you gonna look suspicious as hell. Yes or no, Shelly? Tell me right or wrong. Just be real. Because they
Correct.
came to get the real.
Correct. And you're
Got
not,
it.
and 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get hired if you do refuse.
So y'all don't be going around here saying credit solution is said dot dot dot. I did say it, but I also said you're gonna look suspicious as hell.
Yeah,
All
that says
right.
it right there, too.
All right, let me take Denise Joe down here. Okay. And then okay, we'll keep that up there. All right, so what employers can ask about your background? So it says here, when employers ask about your background, they must treat you the same as other applicants, regardless of race, national origin, color, sex, including pregnancy, sexual orientation, gender identity, and transgender status. Religion, disability, genetic information, including family medical history or age. If you're 40 or older, there's that age, y'all. Us old millennials is creeping up on us. We better start paying attention to these articles here.
Hmm.
Now, do you guys know why it is that these, that you can't be discriminated against about these things? Do you guys kind of have an idea about why that is? Anybody? I mean, I'm going to keep going, but if you know it, please put it in the chat because these are a specific type of class. If you know it, go ahead and put it in the chat. But we'll keep going here. And I ask that because if you don't know what classes these are, that's a problem. This is something you should know. Okay? It should always be at the forefront of
You
your
going
mind.
you going hard, teacher professor on them right now? Come on
Heck
now.
yeah, because so many people don't know. Because, like, a company can reject you for something that is actually one of these. And, or if you suspect it, there's always recourse. You can
There is
actually go,
recourse.
right.
You can take action if you feel like you've been discriminated against in the hiring process based on any of these. Well, guys haven't said anything, but protected classes.
There you
That's what
go.
those are.
Because in housing, in finance, in credit, those are all classes that I have to deal with every single day. So I'm very well versed in them. And you can always tell when you're being discriminated against if you know exactly what to pay attention to.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Dark and lovely. All right, we'll give you that. We're not going to say, you said it after Shelly said it, but I'm going to blame it on the lag. Don't worry. We gonna blame it on the lag, okay, sister?
Oh boy.
Okay. But it does say employers cannot ask you or check your background for medical information if they haven't offered you the job. So is this saying that they can in certain circumstances, Shelly, for medical?
Most of the time, by the time we're getting to background screens, they've already there's already an offer on the table that you've accepted.
Okay.
Let me
I actually have
see.
kind of an interesting question about the health situation. Let's say you're a nurse and you are going to be, drawing blood and things like that. Do they
Mhm.
care if you have any types of illnesses that can be transmitted via blood or saliva or anything like that? Would that be something they could ask you about?
Go back up to the protected classes again.
Here we go. I mean, it says family medical history. So does that include the person, the employee? What do you think?
How in the world would you know that as a employer?
Ooh, I know why. I know why. You know that question that y'all ask sometimes? Do you need any special concessions for a disability or medical issue? Is that a slick way that an employer could find out something about you?
Yes and no, because it's a very generic
Okay.
question and it could speak to any kind of disability, not necessarily that one.
And it's up to the
And
potential employee to disclose what
to
they want to
divulge that,
disclose.
and also, we also have to ask that question to make sure that we're not taking on or we can accommodate whatever disability and not increase the liability as a corporation or as a company.
There you go. You see, guys, you just heard her say this is why we may look at it. Now, behind the scenes, a company can decide not to hire you because of that, but they don't have to tell you that. But if you assume that's why they did it, you could probably file a complaint just
You
just
can.
to be just to make sure.
You can.
Just to make
You have
sure.
the right to do that if you read your FCRA regulations.
Yeah, they don't be wanting to read
Come
nothing.
on now, keep
Okay.
going.
You know. All right, let's see. It's talking about background reporting companies. I mean, honestly, you should be asking for the report anyway. Okay, let's see what else here. Let me go back up. All right, so we were talking about the medical. There we go. Genetic information. They cannot, or they. It says they can ask. Okay, so they can ask about
Except in
genetic
limited.
information, including your family medical history, except in limited circumstances. So I wonder what those limited circumstances would be, and what genetic information would they want? What do you think? What's
I
something to look
mean,
out for?
you're now you're having me go into the grays of situations.
And
That
they'll get hit with the gray, and I think you should enlighten us on it.
genetic information.
Mm.
That could go in different directions. Like if you were born one gender, but you present as another,
Mm-hmm.
and that's also a protected class. So you have to be careful what you ask for in that little situation.
Okay.
And does and the biggest question before you go to the comments, the biggest
Mm-hmm.
question that if you're asking for that type of information, whether it be medical, because then of course you might run up into HIPAA issues,
Okay.
um, is
There we
this
go.
relevant to the job that you're doing? If the answer to that question is no, there's no need for them to ask.
So what genetically could matter? What do you
I
think?
just described them. It's a situation.
But I mean, because I don't know if I've ever been asked like a specific
No, you're not going
thing.
to get anything as specific unless that's an employer that has some shady plans. But
Yeah, because I'm like, why would it? Why would they like? Why would that even be? Well, I guess because I'm only thinking about my own job history, and I'm like, that
right,
was literally never
certain
necessary to know.
industries, of course, if you're a doctor, if you're a scientist, you're in the
Mm,
medical field, depending on what where you are and what you do, that may become an issue. But in
okay.
everything, you have to make sure one, you're not touching protected classes, and if you are, if it's not relevant to the job, you'll need to be asking that anyway. There is a couple of videos I have on my channel that specifically states that yes, there are companies that want to find out information, but there is a way of asking it that is legal, and there's a lot of illegal questions that happen in interviews that I may need to reach. I may need to do a video on that very soon, because if an employer is asking you, so how many kids you got, that's an illegal question.
Oh my God, it totally is, and that's an illegal question in housing, depending on how you ask it.
Right.
I can say how many people are going to live in the unit.
There you go.
See, that sounds harmless, you guys, right? But in my mind, I could be thinking, yeah, because if you got like 6 kids, you ain't moving in. They ain't gonna
Okay.
say that to
Come
you
on.
though.
Now you're getting into
I'm
protected
just
classes.
saying
Let's go to
they'd
the
have to
comments.
say it to you. But there's and I think the point I'm driving home. Let me get my screen back up here. The point I'm driving home to you guys is that there are ways for people to discriminate against you. But if you listen to your media, they have you think that it's always blatant and that it's only race related. No, it is not. You can have too many kids and be any color, and people and an organization can not want to deal with you. It could be anything, how you identify, whatever. There's so many ways, you guys.
I read an article that talked about that, and I said the
Mm-hmm.
quiet part out loud, in one of the articles that I reviewed, maybe like less than a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, if these type of people apply, or you talk to them and they sound this way, let's go
Oop,
to the
oop, oop.
comments.
I got
That's a whole
one. I
nother
got
video.
now I
That's a
got
whole
it.
nother video.
Now I got a question because I know the chat knows this one. I know some people in the chat know about this one. We gonna talk about this another day. But I just realized they discriminate against people based on their names. Based on your name, your resume sometimes, or even application for an apartment, whatever, can get thrown to the side. It can get mysteriously put to the bottom.
Maria Chiquita Alonso may be looked at different from Mary Smith.
And ain't nobody checking for Sharkeisha.
Let's
Moving
go to the
on.
comments and stop being
Moving
messy. Come
on.
on. Come
I
on.
just had to
Come on.
say it. I'm sorry, I had to say it.
Let's just
All
get
right,
into the
where are we
comments.
at? All right. So
Work
but
payments
yeah,
for
you guys, the protected class thing, it is a more layered conversation. So that's gonna be for another night because I
yeah.
could go on for days on that. Okay, so payments for groceries. Yeah, they are doing that right now. It's really just like layaway when we were kids, but it's just food now instead of Christmas toys and school supplies. Hey Carla J, welcome.
Welcome.
All right, and then I have a Motorola Moto 5G 2024. I got it for free. It's a step up from my previous phone. Hey, you do what
Nice.
you got to do. Congratulations, man. You do
It's
what you got to
free.
do. Okay.
It's best price.
Look. Like all the HUD paperwork I do, everybody has an Obama phone. It's insane. I'm like, oh my God, y'all. They're like, yeah, we don't pay for phones. We have Obama phones. I'm like, okay, live your life. Okay, Amira Grace Ministry. Welcome to the channel. I don't think I've seen you here
Welcome.
before. Hey, hey. Okay.
Welcome.
I got an iPhone 7. Okay, it's updated to iOS 7. I'm good. I refuse to spend more than my rent on it. Thank you. Thank you. And I will tell you guys, just prepare because they're going to try to squeeze us out, us folks that are holding on, because Verizon just cut off my Verizon messaging app. And I love that app. So now I have to downgrade my messaging style and I hate it. But they're trying to basically strong arm me into upgrading. I know what that is. It's fine. Pretty much you ain't got to lie, Craig. All right, and then Elliot Polak, I'm guessing is how you say that. I am not being offensive, by the way. It looks like it says Polak. So, Elliot Polak, EEOC, employment discrimination claimants. I'm guessing you're talking about what we were talking about
Yes.
before. Yes, so protected classes, yes. You would be able to have a complaint, but again, you have to be succinct and know exactly what you're being discriminated against.
Yeah.
Civil rights, okay, got you
It's part of the
guys.
group of civil rights laws, yes.
And that is actually part of why they were created after the Civil Rights Acts and all that stuff. A lot of things changed in housing, credit, um, lending. A lot of
And
things
in the labor
changed.
market.
Everything. I mean, overhaul. Protected classes that resulted from affirmative action. I do. I'd have to read up on that a little bit because the gender identity and all that kind of stuff that has only come about within the last 15 years or so since I've been in the
More like
housing
10.
industry.
More
Yeah,
like 10, especially now.
yeah,
More like 10, yeah.
because we had to redo all of our paperwork when that happened. So I know it's not that old.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty new concept. Okay, Dark and Lovely just cutting up from the clouds. Okay, where can I find these articles? I can leave them in the. Actually, I could drop them in the chat too because I got them pulled up here.
Yeah,
But check out that FTC one. I think that one is gonna be pretty
absolutely.
fire. Yes, familial status. Okay, and
Hmm.
then name,
Where you
affiliation,
live?
everything, everything.
Yep.
You could even not get credit because you have the wrong zip code, or you can get less credit if you're in the wrong zip code. And yes, I mean wrong. If you're in an area that's low income, okay, think about it,
Or they have it
guys.
in a specific zone.
That too. Virginia, where I lived in Lynchburg, Lynchburg is literally still segregated, like the school district. Because
Hmm.
my neighbor, I won't say exactly what he did, but my neighbor is kind of in charge of desegregating Lynchburg as far as the elementary schools, and the parents are up in arms, not because they don't want their kids to integrate. It's not that. It's just that the way they're going to break up the district, a lot of people are going to be inconvenienced transportation wise, but it has to happen because this is stuff that is way back from segregation. Some schools are all white kids and some schools are all black kids. It's insane. It's 2024 for crying out loud. You know,
Mm.
redlining is still a thing. Yes, it is.
Sure is.
Um,
It's a
it,
it's a darn shame, but it is.
it is, and I'm gonna tell you though, just based off how I just thought I heard a gunshot. Sorry, guys, people here pay $3,000 for rent, even though I literally feel like I just heard a gunshot. Now I don't pay that. I ain't gonna say that. I don't pay that, but
That's a lot of money.
it's too much. It's too much for this neighborhood. I'm gonna say that.
Error.
I'm gonna say that.
Paying that kind of money, you shouldn't be hearing gunshots. Maybe fireworks, but not gunshots.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you for real. These people are not going out without a fight. They're not leaving this neighborhood without a fight. I've seen it in the year I've been here. Okay, so have you ever had to turn a candidate down due to a credit report issue?
I've had when I was working with oh geez. When I was working with a PEO, yeah, because we used to run the background screens for them.
Okay.
And depending on what's on that credit history,
Mm-hmm.
like they'd be looking for people that if like it's almost like they had a set criteria. And if you fell below that criteria, some employers have a little bit more wiggle room, but some, let's say they'd only accept somebody that has up to two 30-day lates.
Okay.
If they have more than 2 30-day lates, you fall under, they're not
Okay.
hiring you.
Got you. And
Hmm.
that wasn't that many 30-day lates. Do you know what I see as the credit solutionist? Do you know how many 30-day lates I see on a credit report any given day?
Ma'am, that's why you in business.
Good golly. I mean, and y'all, I'm not saying this like I'm trying to diss nobody, but it's like the average person has these problems, and it's like, y'all, even though a lot of people share the same demise, not demise, I shouldn't say that, share the same difficulty,
Mm-hmm.
we got to fix that. Don't
Um,
let the numbers of people make you feel comfortable. Don't be comfortable in that. Okay? Let me get
I'm
this
sure
comment off of
people
here.
on the people on this in this conversation tonight, I'm sure is either working on or doing their ever their best not to fall victim to those circumstances. But stuff happens.
And we
People,
appreciate y'all because I do think that my audience is very niche, and I think that they are a certain caliber of people.
there you
So
go.
I will say that. So I'm scolding the people that are not the caliber of people in my chat.
Yeah, that don't include y'all. Yes.
Now, okay, and I think my signal may be going out. So let me know if I drop off at any time, guys. All
No,
right, so
you're
let's
good.
talk about why this matters and why you may be subject to this, whether or not you are currently employed. All right, so, and Shelly's putting the links in the, I was gonna say the description, whatever that is, the
In the
chat.
chat.
Now, I'm going to tell you guys why this matters, the topic we're talking about tonight. Maybe a year or two ago, we talked about Equifax, I believe it was, and how
Hmm.
they fired their moonlighting employees because Equifax used its own product to run background checks on these people to find their duplicate employers, or not duplicate, but additional employers.
Hmm.
So your employer is running checks on you, right? Some once a year, and some places that you live are running a background check on you once a year, and you sign off on that every year because that's a condition of your tenancy or
Hmm.
residency, whatever you want to call it. So that's a condition. So here's why it matters. There are people always accessing your information in one way or another. Your employer is just being upfront about it. Now, the work number, which is the system I was just talking about from Equifax,
Hmm.
this system essentially looks at your past employment, current employment. It reports your bonuses, your regular wages, your annual income for a couple of years going back. I know the work number reports that I access have that information. Shelly, is there any other thing in the work number that I'm missing?
Um. Yeah. So, if an employer is running that background screen and you lied about working at a place, or you
Mm-hmm.
lied about the type of position that you had at that place, you'll get exposed right here, and that'll be an automatic, you're not getting the job. So it's important not
Exactly.
to lie. And I've had people in my chat and people in my comments of videos in times past where I have urged, not begged, but strongly urged for
Mm-hmm.
people not to lie on their resume or on their job application because you sign off on that,
Mm-hmm.
not
I'm
to lie.
gonna.
And you'd be surprised
All
because
right, I'm gonna pull
because
this
the
up.
work number will expose you. So
Yeah, the work number is gonna expose you, and I wanted to try to show you guys an example of it, because it's no joke, and I know people like it just doesn't make sense to you until you actually see it in person. I look at these reports so much that I'm gonna share this with you guys,
it's
and
redacted, right?
yeah, it's like it has 123 Main Street, da 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 da.
Okay,
Let me go through it because this is what I do daily. So
so it's a sample. Okay.
yeah, it's just a sample. Okay, so this isn't even really indicative of what you will see completely. It has way more than this, but let me go ahead and share it with you guys. Hold on. Let's
Y'all getting the
see.
inside scoop, honey.
Oh, you totally are. They're not going to share with you this hard copy. Like this you're rarely going to see something like this. But the examples are always out there. So It would behoove you to look at the examples. Okay, so you see Equifax, it says the work number at the top. This is the actual name of the report, or the report, because it
Mhm.
used to be a phone number that employers would
Yes.
call, right, Shelly?
Right.
Okay, so it used to be a number, but now it's completely digital.
Hmm.
So it's a verification of employment. We call it a VOE in my industry.
Hmm.
So here you go. So what it shows you, yeah, I'll make it a little smaller. Hold on, sorry, y'all. Okay, so right here, it'll have the requester. So that's whoever's requesting the information. It'll
Right.
put their organization, their email, their address. So you'll always know who is actually pulling the information. If these people ever get audited, they definitely have to have some sort of signed uh, disclosure or something from you, like a slip, I was gonna say permission slip, authorization. And then you're going to know when they pulled it, right? The inquiry
Right.
date, the inquiry SSN. They're going to pull it based on your social security number. And then
Hmm.
inquiry type is verification of employment, okay, VOE. So then permissible purpose, they have to tell you based on the FCRA what their reason for pulling this is. So in this case, it says consumer's application for credit, but for you, it could say something like housing or whatever, right? It could be multiple things, whatever is permissible.
Hmm.
Tracking number, okay, y'all kind of know what that is. That's self-explanatory. So here's where it gets nice and juicy. So it has your information, your name, last four of your social, and then here is where you have the employer information. So it'll tell us the address, everything. This is a great way to find out if your social is actually hacked as well. I find a lot of identity theft this way, because
Oh.
if you live in New York and you have an employer that's listed in California and you have never heard of that employer in your life, it would stand to reason somebody probably sold your social, and
And you
someone,
never lived there either.
right. So we catch a lot of this, and even on the Section 8 side, the Section 8 side, we catch a lot of that too, because if you have a Section 8 apartment in the state of Virginia, why
Hmm.
does your employer have an address in Texas? Now, I understand it could be the corporate office, but
Hmm.
you are going to have to prove that to me.
Hmm.
Y'all see what I'm saying? So
Right.
I
That makes
can,
sense.
yeah, so we can draw a lot of conclusions. You and me, John Q. Public looks at this and says, oh, well, yeah, that could just be the corporate office, or I don't care about that address, da 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 da. But I do, and maybe Shelly's company would care, right?
Right. We would. Excuse me. If in the last 7 years you never put that you were working in another state,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to call. Most likely, if this can't be explained reasonably on the report, we're going to have some follow-up questions for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And
So.
then your employment, it'll tell us what division you're in. It'll tell
Hmm.
us your job title. If
Hmm.
you're active, what your most recent start date was. So don't lie
Hmm.
about those start dates either, y'all, because it might
Oh.
pop up.
Mhm.
Your original hire date, and then because your hire date and your start date are two totally different things, okay, so always keep that in mind too, because you can start after you get hired essentially. And then total time with the employer. So whatever's on your resume, Shelly, y'all basically compare and contrast, is that right?
To some degree, yeah.
Okay, I got you. All right, so the part that you're not seeing on this work number report, because this is just an example, but when you get down to this part after here, it
Hmm.
literally goes into how much you make per hour, your
Oh.
overtime, your bonuses. It goes into your pay cycles. Are you weekly, bi weekly? Are you daily? It'll tell us everything we need to know, everything. So
Oh.
these reports go on and on and on. And what will happen, just so you guys are aware with the work number and why Equifax is so genius about this, is that it literally cuts out the time frame. It helps the employer get to the bottom of what they need to know about you very quickly, and it also helps you as the employer or the prospective employee to kind of get ahead of what could be an issue the next time, right?
Well, that too, and even in HR now, a lot of if a company doesn't use the work number,
Mm,
they're usually sending verification of employment to you to past employers directly or current employers directly,
mm-hmm.
whether they're looking for another job or they're looking to establish some form of credit for housing, for a car, for and a lot of times when I usually get those calls when I'm at work, and I'm the first thing I'm asking, um, what information do you need? Because I want, just like how I
Mm-hmm.
want somebody, I don't want my information personally being out there. I'm not giving employees information up that easily. Do you have a
Mm-hmm.
signed release from the employee?
Right.
Because if I don't have that, I'm not giving you nothing. You could be Joe Schmo from the China shop. I'm not giving you nobody's information because I don't want nobody giving my information up like that. You
Right.
better have signed documentation because in my world, if it's not documented, it didn't
Mm.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of legalities, so I got to make sure I have it in paper.
I got you. And that's what that and these are the things that a lot of folks as they watch this video, or if you're part of the replay gang,
Mhm.
these are things we want you to think about. It's
Yep.
okay to be critical of these companies and sometimes hold their feet to the fire and ask them questions.
Hmm.
So, 3 million employers are using the work number, you guys. 3 million employers.
So don't lie. Please
So
don't
don't
lie.
lie. Your company probably used the work number to find out about you before they hired you, y'all. So let's talk
Mhm.
about this. It says this year Equifax celebrates an important milestone: 3 million employers on the work number. Listen, to me, that almost sounds scary. When I read that, I was like, oh, that's a celebration for them. But for us, wait, let's see. I got a new sound here, y'all.
I'm so done with your sound effects this evening.
Listen,
I'm so done.
because I love how they said 3 million employers are using the work number. It's like,
That's for
yeah,
them.
but
Yay! And for
right. I was like, but that, oh my God, that's so many more people that might be like X'd out of the whole like hiring process. So it
let
says
me
anyone who has leased an apartment, purchased or leased a car, or applied for a mortgage or government benefits has likely benefited from the work number's automated digital verifications. It says value to each consumer is made possible through their employers. In fact, the more employers that use the work number, the more people we can help live their financial best. Ooh, hoo, hoo. What's that you say, Shelly? The lies you tell.
mm,
Mm-mm-mm.
mm.
In 2023 alone, y'all, please listen to this. In 2023 alone, the work number fulfilled 144 million income and employment verifications on behalf of consumers. That's nearly 400,000 requests on a given day. Oh my God. This it Information is seriously the new gold or the new oil. I swear, like information, ah, oh, dude, it's so valuable. Wow, Shelly, 400,000 files pulled per day. Wow. Okay, so it talks about the history of the work number, but we kind of talked about that. It used to be a phone number that y'all could call and get the information. Essentially, they've digitized it to streamline the process so we could get more people to get this done. I honestly just see it as a way of cutting out some jobs, but I understand we want to move fast, right, Shelly? So technology has to kind of go with that. I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, I see your question.
Oh, we got a new one.
Yes, we got a new question.
Wait a minute. This person must be moving through osmosis. Wait a minute now. Okay, why is the work number asking about my pre? I have an idea about that.
Well, I'll tell you why from the employer's perspective.
Okay, I will
To the-
see if I'm right. Go
First
ahead.
of all, the work number giving up too much information on the individuals. No, that's people looking for jobs. Let's be clear. It's a lot, but when you sign the FCRA release, that's part of it. Especially if that employer uses the work number as a way to verify employment. That is why it's important for you not to lie. And this is also why on my channel, and I've talked on Black Women Making Money channel, it is important to have salary negotiation skills
Mm-hmm.
because usually it's after you've been offered the job, after you've done your proper salary negotiation,
Mm-hmm.
that they find out dun, 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 that yeah, you just got a nice raise based on the salary negotiation that you did. Because if they found it out
Mm-hmm.
before, they would have probably tried to lowball you.
Ooh,
That's where
that's a
salary
good point.
negotiation skills come in quite handy because they done already said, okay, they sent out the offer letter and you signed it. This is where, okay, go ahead and fill out the background screen and you sign off on the FCRA, and that's usually what's taking place. That's it. This is where the recruiting and the onboarding flows together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because if they find this information out before they offer you the job, if you are doing your proper salary negotiation, you'd be asking, and I'm giving one question away.
Mm.
I usually don't. That's usually in my paid
Ooh, let's
consultations.
come in close. What this gonna be? Tell us.
What is the projected budget and range that you have set aside for this particular position?
You bringing up stuff your average person does not think about.
Why? Because you better ask them questions if you want to get your money. Nobody's going to advocate for your pocket like you are. This is why I speak about what? Enriching your personal economy. All
Right.
right.
That I mean, wow, 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 wow. That was game. Like you just gave some really good game. Because people don't realize you can't and okay, if we pull the work number, y'all, you telling us you made 65,000 at your last job, the work
No,
number
no,
says you
no.
made 42.
That's also part of the questions they're not supposed to ask. What did you make at your last job? I know there's applications that ask that question. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to reveal that. It's
Shelly,
not their
how many do
business.
you know how many people don't know that they can say no and just decline? Seriously. And I know employers take advantage of that because they know people don't know.
This is why having career coaches are important. I'm
Hallelujah.
giving the game from the inside, honey.
Hallelujah.
Set up
My
the plays
goodness.
properly.
Y'all. She gave y'all so much game just now.
You
Okay.
know, I'm just not looking pretty just to look pretty.
Y'all, if the people in the replay gang make it this far, they just got some game. Okay. So Donald Watts says probably to try to pay us exactly. That's the only reason I could see them looking at previous salaries. No matter what my previous salary was, I'm still going to ask for whatever the job is actually worth, as you
That's right.
should. Because if you stay at your job for like 5, 6 years and you're getting that standard 3 to 5% cost of living increase, you're probably still below the market for your level of experience because
Very
you've been
true.
in the one job.
Correct.
So yeah, employers know that too, y'all. Come on. Their methods are borderline predatory. Listen, yeah.
It
Anything that
is borderline,
involves,
but yes, they get you because you sign off on it.
y'all, anything that has to do with your personal information and finances, there is going to be an air of predatorization.
I need a I
We
need a
making up
magnifying
words.
glass. They want to look in. They want to look and see some things that they not necessarily supposed to see, but because you sign off on it, they can see.
Social credit, y'all. Social credit. All right. Donald Watt says trying to take advantage of the fact that people actually need jobs and may not fight as hard to get the pay that they actually were or deserve to get. There you thank you. That's the point that I'm trying to bring home here. It's like I understand some of the things that I say might sound like, oh, that sounds crazy. No, nobody will look at us that way. Yes, they will. Employers know people need jobs right now. Because I feel like there's two different classes of people right now. There's people that absolutely need jobs and want to work so desperately. And then there's these people that pretend they want to. And they use the, hey, the economy's so bad, I sent out 400 applications. Okay, they're not saying that they're not telling you the truth that they sent out 400 applications to for a CEO job versus, go to work at Home Depot. Did you do that? Probably not. But it just seems like, and those people that maybe are just applying so they can continue to get their benefits. But there's also ghost jobs, and I wanted to talk to you about that maybe another week. We're going to talk about that. But yeah, they are playing on desperation right now. Some employers, I think, when it comes
Don't
to
let them play
negotiation.
on desperation. That doesn't still doesn't mean you should sell your worth for a nickel or a dime.
Because what are your thoughts on that, Shelly? Time is a non-renewable resource, and I've been talking to you about this a lot. The fact of like getting up to give someone else the most productive hours of my day is
Mm-hmm.
starting to seriously wear thin. It's starting to wear very thin. And I
Well,
don't think I'm alone in this.
well, it's time to put a plan together to make some changes. And not
Listen.
only put the plan together, this is where my career strategy comes in. Because if you're looking to, I'm just using this as an example, I want to stop working for people and work for my clients only, which is in my business. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Mm-hmm.
already have a business that is making money? If you
Mm-hmm.
don't, let's start.
There
How do
you
you
go.
get clients while you still have some financial backing? You use your 9 to 5 to pay for your 5 to 9.
5 to 9. There you
Okay.
go.
Build it up to a point where your 5 to 9 starting to pay you more than your 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Normally, some people say when you start making double the amount that you make on your 9 to 5, then it's time to throw the deuces up to the 95. Some people say that. Some people say, "Oh, I just want to. I make enough, and I want to take that leap." There are some people that take that leap. Um, I also don't want to be homeless in the process. So you got to know what kind of leap you take. It. Just saying. So
Word.
there is different strokes for different folks depending on the level of responsibility you have to manage within all of that. But at the end of the day, put a plan together that you know you can work. But do not think for 1 second that a lot of us that have YouTube channels, that have businesses, there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. But if you desire something different, do not be afraid to step out there and do what it takes. This is the part that get folk. Do what it takes to get something
Yeah.
different. Because it ain't going to happen by osmosis. I'm going to say that to you. Okay? It's not
It's
going to
not.
happen. Wait, because I really, 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 really want it. No, it's going to happen because you put some action in place and you
I
hit your
can't
nose
just
to the ground.
manifest and go buy some crystals.
No, darling.
Darn.
No, you could pray, and the Lord gonna say, "Yeah, pray," but you got to work some work to do too.
Uh,
Yeah, because you can't say, "I wish I had a tree over there." Did you plant some seeds, Harlan? Did you water the seeds? Did you irrigate it and give it some food, some plant food? Did you grind up your little eggshells and your little orange peel and your little banana peel and you grind it up and did you put compost? Did you feed the baby so it can grow?
valid, valid,
Come
valid.
on. So you
Okay,
want
I got you.
I want all these wonderful things. Listen, I'd love to have a mansion that's paid for.
Uh huh.
Okay? However, anything that you want, you can have.
Mm-hmm.
Put in work.
Facts. That's what's up. So, how do employers handle situations like, let's say there's something that's reporting incorrectly on the credit report? Is there something that the employer, like, how would I, as a prospective applicant, fight that? Can I?
The employee can, or the prospective employee can say, well, based on what's on this, I can go back to the credit reporting agencies and say, you need to take these off. These are things you can show the employer that this is not in writing, this is not correct. I am working with such and such. You can show the documentation that you're disputing it in writing, that this is
Mm-hmm.
not correct based on my records and what in my information is. Then you can show that you're working to get that issue resolved.
Okay, got
Yeah.
you. So
But
that's when you
everything,
would probably work with somebody like me, and then I would, yeah, because I've
mhm,
drafted letters for people like that before.
right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because
Okay.
there's people that object to what you find on a background or where you find on a credit report. So of course,
Yeah.
because a lot of that stuff isn't correct.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, and then sometimes your job may actually, if you get it, if they run your background for a promotion or they just run the annual background check and they find something, I do suspect that before they fire you, they do ask you, hey, do you want to fix this? And then give you some time, right,
right,
to
right.
rectify. Okay.
A set period of time to
Do you
address.
think the work number will be like is going to continue to grow? Like, do you think it's going to become the industry standard? Because I kind of feel like it is.
Unfortunate but true. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. These people are in love with more information about you. You shoot. I'm surprised your blood type ain't on there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where they want to know. They want to know so much, uh,
Yeah.
and
And I
care so little.
let me see if I could play this TikTok video. Hopefully they won't get us here, but
Mm,
let
you
me
might.
see.
You sure you want to do that?
Yeah, I've already done it on my channel before.
Okay. All right. You know these people, the tiki taki folks, get a little sensitive about their stuff.
I know. We'll see. We just gonna have to play it by ear. You know. You win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day.
There you go.
Quoted by Craig's daddy. Okay, let me let me present. Hold on.
Rest in peace, John Witherspoon. Yep.
Okay, let me see. I always feel like if they have the option to download the video, then they already know like people are gonna use it. But we'll see. Hold on. Let's
That's the
see.
most
Let's see.
pirated website because that downloads music stuff on there all the time.
Girl. Oh, you
Ciao.
know what? Let me share it as a video. Hold on. Let's do it this way. And thank you guys to those of you that are still with us here. We appreciate y'all.
Mm,
All right, let's see where we at. So much on TikTok. Have you seen all those videos where all they do is show TikTok videos? Like it'll literally be a faceless channel and all they do is show TikTok videos. And you're like, "What? That's crazy."
if you
Right?
only get paid based on watch time,
Girl,
people
I'm just
listen. People
waiting.
doing what they need to do to get that shmoney.
Listen. All right, let's play it.
Can you blame them?
History affect employment? The answer is yes. Employers are allowed to factor in your credit history when making employment decisions. Practically speaking, this will happen in certain professions, such as finance or a job where you need a security clearance. Furthermore, many more jobs will require that you pass a criminal background check, and you can be unfairly denied an employment opportunity due to inaccurate information in one of these background reports.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is I want to say that guy might be a lawyer telling you guys what's up there. So that's one. Then
Mm-hmm.
I found this other video that where you ain't gonna be able to get away with this in no profession because a lot of people go over to what is it, truck driving because they don't want to be monitored or anything like that. But let's say you're working with a company that has hang on y'all, I gotta. Oh, I see what happened. Y'all, they ain't even got me signed into YouTube. They are tripping. Hold on, y'all. I'm like, why am I listening to ads on YouTube? Can you still hear me, Shell?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
We
I'm on
here.
another page, y'all. That's why I can't see y'all. But I wasn't logged into my YouTube, and I was trying to play the YouTube video, and it's giving me an ad, and I'm like, no, I pay for premium. Give me my
Mm.
video.
Ooh.
Okay,
You better
girl.
say that. Show us. You want me to play it?
No, that's cool because they just signed me out, but I'm kind of like, why'd y'all sign me out? Like, what's going on? All right.
Mm.
We on it,
Mhm.
y'all. Don't trip.
Donald Watts here. Faceless AI social media is a serious hustle. You-
Listen.
they doing it too, doing it big.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
Listen,
this guy, he's basically going through all of the security clearances that you will have to go through if you want to be a truck driver. Now, this was a DoD truck driver, so this is more government
you're gonna
contract
ask for
stuff.
more. It's a different level.
Yeah, and a lot of y'all, not y'all like, seriously like y'all, but I mean like a lot of people are talking about this government contracting stuff. Well, that's great, but there's still requirements here. So let's look at it and see.
Hold on. So you think not going through the regular job, and you think you're gonna go through less scrutiny background wise when you go a government contracting as a truck driver? You're gonna go through more.
Yeah, you would be surprised what people be thinking.
Ah,
Look, some people I'll be talking to, I'll be like, what in the world? Okay, let's see. All right, let me know, guys, if the audio is coming through.
Definitely put it on there. Financial
good.
records is kind of like the biggest thing that they go over. If you have a history of financial problems, that's probably the biggest disqualifier. They'll look at your credit issues, debt problems, again, that pattern of debt, any financial violations that you have, tax evasion, gambling issues, anything like that, pretty much automatic disqualification. And then criminal activity, there's a section for criminal activity. They do look at it, but it's more of a case-by-case issue, depending on the severity of it. If you've been tried in a federal court, you'll probably get disqualified. It really depends on your situation, though. Any misdemeanors or disorderly conducts that might not be held against you really depends on the situation. And then after all of it's completed, and you've completed the SF-86, there's going to be a waiting period. You'll either be granted a security clearance, you'll be put into essentially what would be considered purgatory, is just waiting to hear back. And that's typically when they find something that needs to be elaborated on or that they have specific questions on. While that's going on, you're going to need to get your fingerprints done.
Okay, he's going into all this super specifics, but he's basically just letting y'all know, like, hell, if you don't hear nothing back, probably because it's negative, it's probably not going to be a good outcome. But I thought what was interesting, he really harped on the financial thing, and he didn't say there was wiggle room there. But with the criminal stuff at the very beginning, he said, well, it's a case-by-case basis.
No, if you notice, he said misdemeanors are not necessarily counted. That's not counted against you, but felonies are.
So
That's a
y'all
government
see?
contract. So of course, government contracting is they're gonna require more. Not even on the criminal side, but they're looking more on your finances.
Y'all, and that's what I'm saying. That's why we had this live stream tonight, y'all. You just literally heard this man say finances is like big. Look, y'all, come on now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Donald Watts says, I'm of the opinion that all of the info that is being used to track the money was already out there. They are just learning how to clean and use the data for their benefit now. I think that's true. And I think it's true on both sides, honestly, the employer and the employee. It's just that the employee needs the knowledge, like they need the education on how these systems work to get ahead of them or to remove certain things from your credit report, right? Because if you have 3 different employers that are reporting incorrectly on your credit report, well, an employer they don't really know whether or not you're currently employed with that company. So why haven't you cleaned that off your credit report yet? Like, what's going on, y'all? We gotta
Well,
literally.
you have to keep in mind, Victoria, unless they run their credit and it's a problem, they won't even know it's under if they don't check on a regular basis.
There you go. Exactly. Which I might as well go ahead and drop the link right now because we do have an affiliate that I use for credit monitoring. I'm going to go ahead and drop that in here. It's My Score IQ. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. With our offer code, you can go ahead and get your FICO 8 for $1 for the first 7 days. And then I believe it's $31.99 after that. Another one that I'd recommend is the My FICO if you go over to their website, but use mine instead. My link is better, y'all. All right, so that's that. Okay, but y'all heard it there. So after talking about that, um,
What did Donald want to say? Looking at education. So
hold
look
on.
at. Mm-hmm.
So, looking at education trends over the course of the last 10 years, data science was super popular and considered new earlier on than analytics, which was the half, is what you're saying. And then, hold on, he's saying something else here. And then, business slash practical application of using the data, and more recently, the application of ML models that apply these methods and provide data to revive method. Sir, you sound like you talking tech talk, girl. What is he saying?
Business practical application use of data, what they use it for, and more recently, application of ML. What's ML? Maybe application of ML models that apply to these methods and provide data to refine methods. Pretty much cleaning up the data so they can use it succinctly to make decisions. That's really machine learning. Got
Gotcha.
it.
Look, you
Okay,
teaching
so
us
now
something. You need to come up here with us. Shoot.
that makes sense. Donald, you're gonna have to give us a little education and all of that stuff at some point
Yeah,
soon.
for sure, for sure.
But that is yeah, because a lot of why the work number is no longer a phone number.
Mm.
Because back in the day when we used to use it 10, 15 years ago, people used to call the work number. Now it's computers pretty much doing it.
Got you.
You know,
Got you.
so the machine learning is something we're living with that in one way, shape, or form or another, whether we want to deal with it or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah. Let's try to work with it. Let's try to take advantage of or learn about it so we can benefit from it more so than be disadvantaged by it.
Right.
So
So why would a company do a credit check on me after I've already become an employee? Let's say I'm a year in. Why would they run a report on me? Is
if
that
that's your
cool?
general practice for all employees,
Mm-hmm.
great, because you may be in a particular position or you may be on a management team where in order for them to, let's say, increase your balance on the company card, they may need to do that as a
Okay.
part of their process. It all depends on what's structured and what you've already signed up to be subjected to as an employee. Sorry, it is what it
Okay.
is.
So what changes are they looking for?
Same things. Same
So what
things.
would you say? Like money, my debt, my
Mhm.
if I
Debt
have
to
another
income
job.
ratio,
Uh-huh.
debt to income ratio, payment history, balances.
Okay. So
Same
those
thing.
things may prompt the employer to take action, adverse action.
If it's directly affecting what you do,
Uh-huh.
and it's directly affecting whatever. If you're in charge of money management at that company, that definitely reflects on you what you're doing in your job performance. Because
Okay.
if you're not handling your own personal finances right, say you're going to handle their finances right. If you're an accountant, if you're a bookkeeper, if you're, what I mean, if you're the forensic accountant, I don't know,
Okay.
whatever, if you're in that sector,
I get you.
I'm sure there's time periodically where they take a look again, see what's
Okay.
going on.
Gotcha.
And I'm sure there's in government sectors too, as you've divulged before, that they do check on a periodic basis
Mm-hmm.
to keep clearances up to date, whether it be
Right.
government clearances or federal clearances, depending on what sector or what industries you're in.
Mm-hmm.
After
Right.
you've been there for a particular period of time, whether it's a year, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something that's either already communicated or you signed off on in I'm gonna say this as a person that's in charge of onboarding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna close my eyes and then I will say it.
Oh, let's come in close.
Please do not just sign paperwork when you get hired or click the button. Get a copy of the policies. Read the policies because you are going to be held accountable, whether in what you say or how you
Mm-hmm.
perform. has to line up with those policies.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, you can get written up and possibly get terminated for not following those policies. So when you get a new job, please read the policies. Now, don't just blindly sign. Don't just blindly say, "Oh, I didn't know," and you're getting written up for attendance or you're getting written up for performance. I didn't know. The lies you tell before Jesus. I remember. You know why? Because I'm the one that has to go over it at work in detail. This is what the attendance we spent 40 minutes on the attendance policy.
Mm-hmm.
And you have jokers 2 months later. Nobody told me this.
You sure
Really?
about that? That's what I would ask them. You sure about that? You sure?
No, they tell that to somebody else. They can't look at my face and tell me that because I watched you sign it.
Wait,
and I went through policy with you.
Shelly's gonna take you on this walk.
Okay. I'm thankfully usually not
with your cardboard box, okay, y'all?
I usually thankfully don't have to do that. I've had to sit in a few, but for the most part, the leaders in the departments handle that themselves.
Could you imagine? Oh my God.
If you listen here, some of the stuff, I mean, they sit up there and they tell that big fat lie. Mm-hmm. I know I'm fluffy, but I keep it real. Okay?
Oh my God.
I know I'm a fluffy girl, but what we're not going to do is sit up here and lie on me.
Girl.
Okay?
Okay, so last tips of the night. So how should a employee, how should they handle the situation if they suspect that the credit report triggered a review, and then maybe their potential job loss? Like, let's say that they got the background check and then they lost the job. Like, what rights do they have? What recourse?
FCRA, the same document you signed off on, you should have a copy of it, and you can call and ask for a copy of the credit report. Mm-hmm. And go ahead and discuss with them. Listen, I understand that what you found on the credit report may be the reason you decided to rescind.
Donna Watson.
He said, "No, that's petty." You see the grooves? Go ahead and get in contact with all 3 credit reporting agencies and let them know, listen, I ended up losing an opportunity because of this, because of incorrect information. Please provide me with this and this and this. And of course, you have that communication back and forth with the credit reporting agencies. You have to have everything documented, of course. Mm-hmm. And if you have you can show that information was incorrect and you get the documentation from them, then that would definitely, you can reconsider. The employer can reconsider you based on the documented information coming from those agencies, because mistakes happen. And the credit reporting agencies, as we know, are notorious for putting wrong information on your report. Credit Solutions can tell you that without even betting.
I know it. Yep, you're right. So, you're right. Okay, well, do you have any scenario? Like, I actually had this question for you. Have you ever personally had to make that call where you tell a prospective employee, like, hey, something came up and we're going to rescind this offer? Or
I have had to send out that generic email that they decided to go in a different direction.
Okay.
We appreciate you completing your application. Mm-hmm. And, we are making the decision to rescind this offer, but if something does change, we'll be in contact with you. You've had to give the generic response. It's never I'm going to say this to people, and I think people misunderstand that because I am in human resources. Let me get my eyes wide open here, because y'all realize I do have a nice big pair. Okay? That we take pleasure in disappointing people in these situations. Mm-hmm. We feel it just like y'all, because just like y'all, we doing a job, and they could tell us the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. So that is a part of my job, whether it be sitting in a termination, or having to rescind the job offer, mm-hmm. or having to tell somebody, because we found this, we're no longer considering you as an employee. That hurts me to my core because somebody could tell me that based on what they see or don't see. We're all humans at the end of the day. We all out here trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, and we trying to make another extra dollar with this job that I'm trying to go for. So don't think for 1 second we're not less human for doing it. It's just part of what we have to do as our job. And not all parts of your job is pleasant. Ask the janitor, they can tell you.
This is true. This is
So
so true.
I want people to understand I'm human at the end of the day, but I at least in my profession get to be more human than other people are
Okay.
and be able to help people along or help people not do things to damage themselves because we have to remind people that they're adults in certain situations. Please don't make this stupid decision and give away your job unnecessarily. I've had to have that conversation with people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you serious right now? You're way too old and you got grandkids acting like a child in this place. Are you serious?
That's insane.
So I want to leave that with you guys. As a career coach, this is I want to be on that's why I am on the other side of things. If you do this is going to affect you professionally for a year, 2 years, 3 years, because this is the reputation that you presented, unfortunately. Please make sure that in the professional space, you have the proper reputation. Two, do not lie on your application. This will affect what happens when they do a background check and they find foolishness that you did not divulge. Not saying it is just as bad as lying about it.
Wow.
Integrity is very important. That's why I said if you're filling out the information for the background screen and you may have had a ticket that you think they might find, put it on there. It's better for you to tell me and I don't find it on your record than for you to say, no, I don't have anything, and they find a rap sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't want to sound like I'm preaching. I'm strongly encouraging you to be integral and be truthful, especially with documents that has to be signed and could be used in a court of law at a different date.
That
Okay.
part.
That's how serious it is. Okay, I'm done. Rand finished.
Listen, you did very well, girlfriend. Like I said, I'm glad you come on the channel. You know, what has it been, 2 or 3 Fridays in a row now with the game? I mean, I think tonight we kind of uncovered a lot and you enlightened me on some things. And I know that, the chat, everybody that came through tonight, as well as anybody in the replay gang, they are going to pick up some gems from this, right? Y'all, we got to start paying attention. If you're going to take control of your personal economy, right, this is part of it. Where you work, what your social credit score is, what does your credit report say about you? These are important things. Society now is getting to where everything's intertwined. One doesn't come without the other. You know what I mean? Who would have thought a credit check depended on whether or not you were going to get to bag groceries part-time? Like, who would have thought that? You know what I mean? So society's changing. Information is, like I said, the new gold. Mark my words, right? Information is key.
Yep.
Everybody wants a piece of you, and they want to know where you come from, who you are, because it will determine where you're going. And it also determines whether or not you are a candidate that they want on their team. Because is the type of person that you are going to benefit this team and propel us to the next level? If it's not, we gotta pass. And your credit report and your resume and your references, all of it is going to tell us that. So Shelly, because we know this now, I'm going to give the floor to you because you have some of the keys to help these people get to where they can fine tune and craft that social credit score. Tell us what you do. How can you help us with that?
Okay, sorry about that. Social credit score. Not. I'm more on the. Um, sorry about that. Wasn't expecting that. Um,
She's a busy lady. We gotta let her go, y'all. She busy.
I wouldn't even use social credit score because, to be honest with you, I kind of hate the whole concept. Um, but
You know what I was
understanding
about to
that,
say.
mm,
It's here, girlfriend.
understanding,
It's here.
understanding that how you maneuver in the job market, in the labor market space, whether it be business or it be you be or you're an employee or you're a career professional, you have to have laser sharp skills to be able to not only maneuver, but maneuver with the right information. So we talked about when you get to the point where you've been offered the job and they're now doing a background screen. That's the piece of it that we're talking about here. But before you even get there, do you have your resume, right? Let's start from the start of the process. Do you have a resume that you're using to apply for jobs, right? Is your resume getting you the type of jobs, right? Is your resume catching the right eyes, right? The job of your resume is to get you an interview. Is your resume written well enough to have a high enough score with the applicant tracking system for a recruiter to even look at it? I've looked at some resumes in my time, and some of them, I wonder if people knew what a resume was before, or they just thought they should slap some words on a paper and that's supposed to be a resume. I digress. Or do they understand the type of job they were applying for? They have an office manager job, but they're applying to be a mechanic somewhere. The type of skills that are required for both are two very different set of skills. Your resume has to be tailored to the job you are applying for. Okay? So whatever skills gravitates towards this position, that's what should be on your resume. So if you have experience in 2-3 different industries, that should be 2 to 3 different resumes. I'm dropping, this is stuff I talk to people about behind the paywall. So let's be clear. But because we're on the Credit Solutionist channel, I'm just giving you a synopsis here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once your resume is doing its job and getting you interviews, whether that interview is on a computer, on a phone, in person, or in a group,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing what is necessary to, number one, be prepared for that interview. I do have a resource, mentorshelley.com/interview, that goes through steps. Nominal fee, $15. That'll help you to go and pinpoint the exact things you need to do before you go into that interview, whatever interface you're using, whether it be in person, over the phone, or interfacing with some form of technology, right? Go in that interview prepared,
Mm-hmm.
ready to tackle and ready to ask questions. Because please don't go in an interview and just let them ask you questions and don't have any of your own. This is an interpersonal relationship, interpersonal professional relationship you're forming. You're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. You want to make sure you're not walking into Friday the 13th, part 12. Not every organization is fit for you. Okay? So the interviewing process is as much for you as it is for them. Do I want to be here or do they want me here?
Mm-hmm.
Once that's determined and you weed out that process, this is where the importance of salary negotiation will be beneficial, even if the work number spills your information after the fact. That's why I said salary negotiation can be the game changer here.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be who do we expect to be an advocate for us? The employer or you?
Yep.
Who's gonna be your advocate? You better get your money. That's when you get your shot. That's exactly where your raise is coming from. It's not coming from the company you work for. It's coming from the company that you're going to.
Facts.
Did you do? We do everything on this doohickey thing here. Did you do your research as to the position you're applying for? What's the going rate in your particular market versus what their budget is for the position?
Mm-hmm.
Find that out before you give out numbers. I'm not giving no more salary negotiation tips because the rest of them you got to pay for.
I know. I'm like, girl, I feel like I'm in a consultation.
Exactly.
I should have been taking notes. Okay. But yeah, so talk about your consultations. Let us know what you do before we wrap up here.
I have career
Oh,
strategy.
you got your links?
Yeah, let's put them in here right
Yes,
now.
ma'am. Yeah, let us know all the stuff you have going because I'm really intrigued by your Trad Wife series. So hopefully you talk about that a little bit before we go.
mentorshelley.com/consultations. I have that is where we do interview coaching and salary negotiation together. We also do career strategy there, or if you just want me to focus on doing the resumes for you, you can schedule consultations to do all of those things, as well as I had a live stream earlier this week talking about that poor nurse at the VA that definitely needs some help. She needs her own HR, and I do offer the employees HR as well as a consultation to help employees like that when they're going through their own nonsense with for organization within organizations. So all those consultations are there. You can schedule those. If you are looking, or if you know an ex-trad wife that is coming out of situations, here is their start. All right. This is a free resource, but I am working behind the scenes on the workshop for them. It's an ex-trad wife economic guide. As you know, you hear me talk about personal economy all the time. A lot of those young women are coming out of situations financially stripped. And I have a heart for young women that really didn't understand that trusting the wrong person can leave you in a pile of poo-poo financially. I have a passion for helping young women become empowered, because an empowered young woman can make intelligent choices versus one that is intentionally and unintentionally placed in a trap by someone they were supposed to trust. That is the meat of why I am concentrating and focusing on ex-trad wives, because they need a lot of help coming out of those awful situations. At the end of the day, I'm here to help you become a better professional, help you to enrich your own personal economy, whether you're an ex-trad wife or you are you're in mid-career, you're not sure what way to pivot or what direction you want to pivot. Help you work through those things as well. So my consultations are there, as well as the ex-trad wife economic guide. It's also there. It's a start, but we will be having a course coming down the pike in the next few weeks. But I want to make sure that you at least have a starting point, because a lot of those young women are coming out of situations where they've never even been in the workplace before, or if they were, it was in very, meager beginnings as a cashier or some form of entry level position, not realizing they're coming out of that situation, and they may already have skills that they just don't realize. So that's what the ex-trad wife economic guide will help them to decipher. Okay. So that is what I want to focus on. I do have other services, but you can find those on mentorshelley.com/consultations. The consultations are there. I have resume reviews and things of that nature. That's also there. And the ex-trad wife guide. And if you have high schoolers, high school and college folks coming out of school and they have no idea what they want to do with their lives, are coming into the job market, fresh out of high school and college, and they're clueless. That's why part of my title is From Clueless Teenager to Consummate Professional, 7 Steps to Helping You Get the Career and Economic Life You Want. Economy is all through the brand of Mentor Shelley. It's helping you to enrich your personal economy, no matter where you are. If you're starting off, you in the middle, you're coming out of a bad situation, or you just need some help with getting your money together.
Getting your Skrilla.
Getting you Skrilla. So if you're looking for that, you can go to mentorshelley.com/book to go ahead and buy that digitally. Hopefully sooner than later. Give me a couple months to get that in audio version. But right now it is in digital form at mentorshelley.com/book. Victoria, as always, it is always a pleasure. And I do thank you so much for.
All right, go on.
Thank you.
Go on.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And as always, for us collaborating and having these enriching, enlightening discussions so we can help our fellow man become better professionals, become better financially in the career space and in the credit space and in handling your finances like a boss space, because you come in all of those areas as well. Back to you.
All right, y'all. So that, honestly, we gonna wrap it up right now. Like I said, guys, be sure when I drop my girl, let me take your link down real quick. Hold on. Y'all always take notes when Mentor Shelley comes in the building. All right, look. So 90-day rapid repair mini ebook, that's going to be relaunching by the end of this month. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to be talking about that quite a bit to get your credit game real strong during these last 90 days of the calendar year. Okay, that's going to be one thing that we have coming down the pike. You guys already know. If you are an aspiring small business owner or aspiring side hustler, whatever, we don't discriminate around here. Learn how to turn your idea into dollars in 30 days or less with the Small Business Blueprint. Links will be in the description for this course. This is going to be your A to Z guide for getting your business started and maybe just getting some ideas. All right. I walk you through quite a few modules here that are going to give you literally the steps from start to finish.
That's
you
right.
can get your business registered in 7 days or less, man. All right. You'd be amazed at what you can find at your Secretary of State. All right, guys. So those are the 2 products I have. I also have the bankruptcy breakthrough coming up. I just redesigned my cover for that book. So I'm going to be setting up a little web store for you guys here very shortly. We're going to have some deals for Black Friday, of course. I'll probably bundle a few things. And yeah, we're going to kind of hit the ground. Well, I shouldn't say hit the ground running. We going to blast off in these this last quarter of the year. So I really hope you guys are there with me. And we appreciate y'all coming in to check out this discussion tonight. You guys, again, information is king right now. All right. Everybody wants a piece of what you got. All right. So guys, we're going to go ahead and take off because, oh my God, it's very late on the East Coast and I got to go to bed, guys. Okay. And Shelly's got things to do because her phone was a ringing, girl, a ring-a-ding-a-dinging. So listen, y'all, thanks for stopping by and we will see you guys on the next video. Credit Solutionist and Mentor Shelley. Out.